So this is the classic Annabelle. It's a smooth hydrangea or Hydrangea arborescens. It produces the classic snowball look. This one I purchased from a master gardener. I work for University of Delaware College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, and I do a lot of work with extension. And in my office, in the back of my office building, they have a master gardener demonstration garden, so I'm in my glory. But they have plant sales, and I bought this as a one twig cutting, and this is maybe about 5 years old. So this is just starting to come up. These are native to the United States. You can trim these down. You can almost mow them down and they'll come back. I've not pruned this because it hasn't been a fast grower, just because, again, I have all these trees, so it gets protected. This one I would pay to have the DNA taken on it because you can't tell now, but this is the most glorious, rounded, perfect, classic, gorgeous blue ball hydrangea. It's just the classic macrophylla hydrangea. It's not a rebloomer. It's old wood. But I will revisit this with you because you just won't believe the color of this one. It's starting right here, but cerulean blue. It is solid blue. When it fills in, that will be just a big, giant, solid blue ball. It's the most gorgeous blue I've got on the property. Over here I have two right here. These are endless summers. I don't know what kind of endless summers they are. I just remember they had that blue bucket. And these are interesting. Lots of blooms, but the blooms stay very flat. They don't round out. They stay in a pagoda shape. So they never round out into a ball. And then all the way down here are all propagations from that serrata I showed you called blue billows. So they form, and they're so easy to propagate. So I didn't pay for any of these. I just propagated them. There it is. And that will darken into a blue. So they're very, the serratas are they're very twiggy. They don't get the big, thick canes like the macrophyllas do. But easy enough, I'm going to start naturalizing all along this fence line. This is Merit Supreme, and this one's doing some interesting things. This is 4 years old now. So when I bought it from the nursery, it was bright pink, which is how they do Merit Supreme. And then the second year it came through purple, a real dark violet purple. And this year it's coming back to being pink again. So despite being in a very acidic soil, I love it. I like the mixture. I like what nature gives me. So I'm really pleased with this. It's getting more sun this year. I'll show you here. So this is why I had these umbrellas up. I'll explain in a minute. This was a river birch. So this was a $14 river birch we got from Lewes. 20 years later, it was almost $1,900 to remove. It was dumping. It's a very dirty tree. It was dumping stuff into our pond. It was dumping stuff into our deck and into our gutter. So we cut it down. So now I have a situation where trees that were in deep shade, because I had a huge canopy, are now getting a lot more sun. So I had these umbrellas. It's been raining, so I took them down. But I have these umbrellas up that I'll pop to shade them. But this is another hydrangea I don't know the name of, but the ones over there that I showed you that had little baby cuttings all came from this. I just layer them into the ground. You can see right here, I'm layering one right now. See the rocks? I just lay a low-lying branch. I really don't do too much other than put rocks on them. And by the end of summer, if I did it right, there'll be roots, and I'll be able to sever that from the mother plant and plant it where I want it in the fall. I'll leave it where it is. I'm going to let it grow all summer long. But this is another gorgeous blue. Not as gorgeous as the one on the fence, but pretty darn gorgeous. These, by the way, came from, it's a peony, I can't think of the name of it now, but they're not the greatest, but they provide some shade. This is a pistachio. The original pistachio came from Wayside Gardens. It was about a little quart-sized plant. Planted it over there in the deeper shade. It didn't do well. This is its 5th year in this spot, but its first year of the 5th in sun, because this was also very, very shady here. And I think it's got the most blooms it's ever had. I'm impressed with the blooms when they bloom. They're gorgeous, but I've not been terribly impressed with this pistachio in the years that I've had it. But it's had 3 homes, so this is its permanent home. But this year I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think there's a 5th bloom over here. So it's finally going to bloom, and it's an orangey, peachy, really gorgeous. Then it has a same one, brother, sister. It's sort of like this, but it's a little different. And I don't see any blooms on that. So this is just a super slow growing hydrangea. I think they may have done some revisions to the pistachio line, because I see other people have them and they're like doing really well. So this is like the first incarnation of pistachio. And this here is what a layering looks like. So I layered a twist and shout hydrangea, very showy lace cap. This is the branch I got. So I got all this, came over with the layering. The roots were really good. I dug a huge hole and a huge hole here, put it in. This thing just took off. It's not stressed out. It's going to bloom. So really happy with how layering works to multiply your hydrangea supply. Here is a oak leaf that I just bought, and I bought this from my university's botanic garden sale. This is Gatsby Star or Doug Hill. It's the leaves are a little limier green. I don't know if that's a nutritional deficit. It has had some trouble with the heat and a little bit of trouble with the transition, because I did buy it in May and put it in the ground in May. And so I have to kind of baby it. I have an umbrella here for it when it gets really sunny, because I don't want the sun to beat down on it. It's cooking it. So those are some of my other hydrangeas. Let's see, I've got other little baby ones starting, and let me take you through. This is an area going into transition. This was all, I had a Great Dane. This was a dog run, and then we had some cinder block. So I'm changing this over into a pollinator garden and containers. And I have a stand of, and I'm trying to put more native plants. That's a stand of sunflowers, but these two here are incredible. So they're like the Annabelles. They're smooth hydrangea arborens. They're native, or they're derived from a native, but these will get the size. This is now west, but it's shaded by these cypress. So they mind the heat, something terrible. They need a lot of, even though these are well established, I prune these back to about 3 feet. So what you're seeing here is all new growth. That's back down there is where I pruned it to. So I pruned it to about 3 feet. So you prune these the same way you would prune the paniculatas. And for me, that's the end of March. I just come in and take it out. And you'll get a little bit better stems that way. But these will get twice the size. They get the size of those little rippled paper, cheap paper plates. That's about what they look like. And the insects love them. And so I've got 2 of those. I haven't tried to propagate these. I think I might, but I think that's illegal because that's a copyrighted or protected patent. I think you can't propagate them for sale. I might be able to do it for my personal use. And then over here, this is a mistake, but a mistake that's doing okay. This is Nico Blue, just starting. This is a very old-fashioned variety, and it is facing west, and it gets beaten down by the sun and the heat. So people will tell you, don't plant macrophyllus, morning sun, afternoon shade. This is the absolute opposite of that because I didn't know what I was doing. I have taken cuttings from this and I'm trying them to see in case this ever stresses out. But this sometimes needs watering 3 times a day. So can you grow them in the wrong spot? Yes. But be careful because they're going to take a lot of work. And they don't make the best cut flower. Incidentally, I watched these happy videos on Facebook, which are called by Tipton and Hurst. He's a florist, and he says if you want the blossoms these are the blossoms that flop almost right away when I put them in a vase. But he says that take all the leaves off, every single leaf off, and your blossoms will last longer. So I'm going to try that. But this is a very old-fashioned, but just look, it's in the wrong spot. It gets beaten by the sun. It gets beaten by the shade. I don't have any problems with scorching. So you can do it. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. Again, this should have a soaker hose on it all the time because it just wants water, 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 water. So that's some. I haven't gone to the front of my yard, but that is some of my hydrangeas. And they'll be more glorious in about another week. So maybe I'll do another video. Bye for now.